It's not even working. Still eating. Okay, something's coming up. Okay, I think it's loading. This is super clean. Everyone's hype about Claude Opus 4.6, but I don't actually care about the hype. I care if this model can positively impact the way I work, or if it's just an average model upgrade. Today I'm putting it to the ultimate test. I have a massive 128,000 row Amazon sales dataset, which I will be slicing probably in half because I think that's around 70,000 KB. I'm actually going to check this file. And this is off script. I think that's a very, very large file. Yeah, it's around 67 KB. I'm probably gonna slice that in half because I think it's around 30,000 KB that Claude will actually allow me to upload. I'm going to drop this entire file into Opus 4.6 and see if it can actually build me a fully functioning, money generating e-commerce platform within minutes. And I will send the same file and prompt to Claude's previous model to see how much Opus 4.6 has improved. I want a customer-facing store and I want a password-protected admin view for me to see all the analytics. I'm grading it on 3 things. 1, money and productivity. How much time is it going to save me? 2, innovation. Can I build real software tools? 3, can it handle all the data without hallucinating? And make sure to stick to the very end so you can see my official data-driven score for Claude Opus 4.6. Okay, so let's start with the breakdown. First, let's look at the 1 million context window. This is a big one. It can now hold 1 million tokens of information. However, I think right now, currently, in the UI, because today I'm going to be covering the UI, I'm not going to be using Claude Cowork or Claude Code. I'm going to be purely using the UI. This is crazy. This is like 7 to 8 full-length novels, or thousands of pages of documents in its memory at once. But yeah, that's a big upgrade because right now Gemini has 1 million tokens. That's like what it's famous for, the 1 million tokens context window. Like you go on, I upload all my YouTube videos, etc. So yeah, it's big that Claude's now introducing this. They beat ChatGPT. I think Claude Opus 4.6 is going to be insane with a 1 million context window. Like imagine putting, huge repos in here. Like, that's insane. You can put so many files of code, and also you can go on Kaggle, put loads of data sets. So it's going to be insane that this can now retain that information, remember it, and then you can use that to, vibe code or software. If you're a software engineer, you could then use it to assist you. So I think it's really cool. It now has judgment. It decides when to pause and think deeply about a hard problem, and when to just answer instantly. On the UI, I believe you have to toggle on extended thinking in order to activate this. That's what I'm thinking, because before when you put extended thinking on, obviously it would show all the steps, but now the model can choose whether to think longer or think shorter. Another cool thing is the office takeover. That's what I like to call it. It's crazy to think back in the day we would use Excel. We knew all the shortcuts, of course, but it was just very slow. I know we thought that was a huge automation back in the day. I remember being in Excel, copying and pasting and just trying to, change data. And it was such a long process. I know Copilot's in Excel at the moment, but with the introduction of Claude, it's going to be insane. We're literally going to show the data that I input on there with all the products, the best-selling products, and then we're going to have the admin view as well. This will be a quick task where we can test the model and see how good it is. But back to the office takeover. It now integrates directly with the tools we use every day. It can take messy data in Excel, structure it, and then generate a branded PowerPoint deck automatically. It reads your fonts and layouts to stay on brand. This is so cool. The fact that Claude can go and do some data analytics in Excel and, like I said, present that in PowerPoint, it's just a beautiful combination, honestly. That old school way of working where we would manually, type numbers in, copy and paste, select a chart, flick through, see the chart, edit the labels. It's all changed. I also want to talk about the massive output tokens, so not just the context window. Is 128,000 tokens is a coincidence? Is the same amount of rows of the e-commerce data I'm going to be inputting? And remember, this is 128,000 output tokens, just output tokens alone, not input and output tokens. Most AI models stop writing after a few pages. Opus 4.6 can write 120,000 tokens in one go. Like, that's insane. Because remember, when it comes to the context window, this is the memory that's retained. So that's why it's 1 million tokens. This is why it's a large amount. But we're talking in one go. Claude Opus 4.6 can output up to 128,000 tokens. It's insane. And it's going to be so effective for coding. Like, we're literally going to be able to code so much, so many apps, websites, etc. because this is a powerful feature that we can't underestimate. I can't wait to use this because it's going to be nice that Claude can actually output a full software solution without stopping halfway through. Like, this is the biggest thing I'm looking forward to. But yeah, that's an overview of Opus 4.6. Let's get into the demo anyway, because this is the most interesting part of the video. I've got an Amazon sales report. Let's look at the Excel file. Here is the demo. I'm actually going to be testing Claude Opus 4.6 in two areas. The first area is being able to manage a huge amount of data. The second is interesting. So obviously we've got some e-commerce data, and the business we are looking at actually operates in India. The business operates in India and they sell clothes. The clothes have very different naming conventions to, for example, clothes I'm aware of in England. So the second thing I'm going to test is, can we translate the name of those clothes from the Indian, like I say terminology, an Indian clothes to like British clothes, like the words we think of. Also, the currency is in Indian rupees, I believe, and I might be missing out a letter, but the currency's in there, and then this will be translated into British pounds. So it's a huge data set. Obviously, I'm asking the model to visualize the data, and then secondly, translate from Indian requirements to British requirements, because we're now going to operate this business in England. So some of the words of the clothings, I think some people in this country might not understand. So we're going to translate it to our requirements. So yeah, I think this is going to be really interesting. Let me show you the data set. Okay, so we're currently looking at a Western dress, and a Western dress, to be fair, for £800, if it's like a really luxurious dress, I guess, I don't know if that's reasonable. I'm trying to just, no, I think it will be. But I think this is just the everyday dress. I'm probably going to change this to summer dress, because we're in the West. I don't think it makes sense to call it Western dress. We'll call it to summer dress. Top's fine. I've never heard this word before. Kurta. No, I'm definitely saying that wrong. I feel like I'm definitely going to get an Indian person in the comments correcting me. But yeah, this is why we're going to translate the naming. But yeah, this set, that's probably a set of things. See, it's relatively more expensive than the rest. Bangalore, New Delhi, yeah, these are all Indian states and cities, Mumbai. So what I'm actually going to do with this data is, I think we will leave it the ship state, obviously, but the ship city is going to be like Manchester, London, Birmingham, etc. But we're going to, for this example, I'm actually going to ask the model to hide the ship city and the ship state. So on the visualizations, they're not saying like Mumbai or Bangalore. They don't have it at all. So it should be like showing British pounds, and it should be showing like British clothing with the naming conventions. And obviously things like top is universal. So there's no issue with people understanding that. So that's the strategy. Let's get into the prompt. Okay, so here's the prompt I'm saying, and let's read the prompt. Analyze this sales file and build me a clean white label SaaS tool. Think Shopify or Stripe design. I need two main views. First, a storefront showing our best selling products in a clean grid with the product names and prices. Second, an admin panel that must be password protected. Code 1234. That will be the password. Once logged in, show me a kill list table of the products with the highest cancellation rates that I need to cut out. along with interesting analytics on which products are generating the most revenue and any major concerns that I should be aware of. However, before you build the app, you need to transform the raw data for a UK launch. Rename the product categories to sound like a British fashion brand. I feel like I'm going to get some of these names wrong, so I'm just going to say let's change this to jumper, let's change this to evening gown, let's change this to hat, and let's change Western dress to summer dress, because I think that's what it translates to. Also fix the pricing. The raw figures are in INR, Indian rupee, I believe that's what it's called, but I need them shown as GBP, pounds. Convert from INR to GBP. Don't show any Indian cities, as we will be launching this in the UK for British consumers. Change the Indian cities to UK cities. Order the list of English cities in popularity in relation to all the Indian cities named. For example, call the largest Indian city London and the second largest Birmingham, third Manchester. This is for the shipped to city only. You can then add analytics about the cities in the admin view. Okay, let's press search. I feel like this is going to take a long time.
I got this!
It's not even working. Still eating. Okay, something's coming up. Okay, I think it's loading. The UI has come up. Is this it? Okay, so this is super clean. Well, yeah, it's insane. It's just gave me like a really clean, professional UI. It's time for the verdict. I've just gone away and used the exact same prompt and dropped the same file into Claude Sonnet 4.5, which is Claude's previous model. We're going to be comparing the e-commerce website the old model created with this new e-commerce website that the new model created. But first, let's have a look at what Opus 4.6 has actually done. This is clean. Like, I already know innovation's going to be high, and remember, you still need to wait for the data-driven score where I assess the value of the model. Can it make you money, and what's the productivity? I also score it on innovation and then accuracy. And then obviously in accuracy, we're going to be looking if the Indian word translation was correct to English, and we will be looking at whether the figures are accurate. But first, let's actually look at this platform. So yeah, I'm so surprised how clean it is. They've literally visualized dresses, clothes on here, they put all the price tags, and this is very clean. Oh my gosh, they've even done like different sections, like coordinated set, summer dress, jumper. It's interesting to know why they only did 3. They've got the best sellers on there. Admin panel, let me check that out. Let me put the password in. Okay, this is cool. This is really cool. They've got like the command center, I called it. And I like, oh, it's got a sign out feature as well, which is nice. So admin panel, shop, and then sign out. So obviously if I press sign out, I need to log back in. If I put the wrong numbers, let's see, validation. Oh, it didn't work, perfect. So this has already got a security layer, but this is looking very clean. Whoa, it's got visuals, trends, concerns. But yeah, let's look at the Claude Sonnet 4.5 model and see the difference. What the hell is this? You know what the fuck is it? Like, it's insane that it's only been one model version difference and it looks completely different. Like, they've called it Fashion UK first of all. So the Opus 4.6 called it Mason. It called it like a fashionable name. But this is really ugly. Like, this is no way to sell products. They've just called things by their pure ID names. It's a very ugly looking UI, I think. If we look on admin panel, okay, they'd have the password. That's great. Let's actually test it, see if I'm wrong. Oh, I can't even sign out. Yeah, I can't sign out of this one, and this is Sonnet 4.5. I've actually done some analysis on the data for both, so we'll go into that in the third point, the analysis section. But as you can see, this is clean, the visuals, but you can't compare Opus 4.6 with the previous model version. It's insane how much it's evolved. Okay, but let's start with the first point, money and productivity. Does this save me time? That's the biggest question I have. And is it going to make me money? Well, if we look at the previous model, it looks like a spreadsheet, like a plain spreadsheet. It's very messy. No clients would want to buy this. I'd actually rate this very low. And to be fair, I did give a vague prompt, but this is testing the innovation, which we'll go into as well. But in terms of money and productivity, I would have to send so many prompts to improve this, whereas Opus 4.6 has made a beautiful UI, the data's correct, they've even visualized the clothing, they've gave each clothes different names. I think from a business point of view, it's done a great job, and this is very professional. From a productivity point of view, it saved me so much time. I don't even think I need to keep repeating prompts. There is one issue I found with it, which I'll go into with accuracy, but in terms of the productivity, like it even got a little watermark at the bottom. Let's see if it did it with, no it didn't. It didn't do it with 4.5, surprisingly. Like, this is insane. Remember, the same prompt and the same data set, and look at the difference. You guys would think this is a purely professional website, Mason, right? I don't understand why they've not said all of the names. I do understand they said all. I think it would have been better if they would have said like top, maybe they would have said everyone, and even done like options like an arrow going up and down, but I still think it's very clean. But money and productivity, I have to rate it a 9 out of 10 because this is a great product. Like, this is literally a deployable product. It's insane, built in such little time. Innovation, you know this is going to be high, and I can't get over these little icons. Like, look at the meadow dress, Notting Hill pear. The naming is very interesting, to be honest, and it's actually creative from Claude. We don't really see Claude being that creative. It's more logical. You know, you have models like Gemini and ChatGPT, which is more creative. Grok is the most creative, in my opinion. But Claude has been very creative and very innovative. I like the names. It's using logical sense. Like the previous model, they just put, it was pure logic. There wasn't that much innovation because they were just listing out IDs. They obviously did the data analysis and they just threw the numbers on the screen, but they didn't really think of the placements. What I like about this is they've kept the user side for the user. In the previous model, as you can see, they've put like the total amount of money made for each product, like we say 2,000 here because there was 594 sold. Whereas with here, they say how many is sold. I don't know if they should have put that, and that's questionable. I don't think a consumer really needs to see that. However, it doesn't look that visually bad. I think the prices are great. I think this is what's expected. And remember, I didn't say this. The prompt was really vague on purpose to see the innovation and creativity of these two models. So innovation has to be high. And let's go to the admin panel. This is great. You know, I'm not a big fan of the emojis. I'll be honest. I don't think it looks as professional. I think the other one actually looked more professional. The way how it just listed the kill list and the revenue champs. However, at least this has like a toggle option where you can go through the different ones. Okay, these are clean. I like major concerns, but kill list, let's look at that. In terms of the kill list, like this was a big one. Which products to cut? Like this is really important. They did such a better job with a newer model because as you can see, they're picking products that have loads of orders. And they're like, this has had 84 orders, 28 cancellations. That's 33% cancellation rate. Let's cut it. And they've kept the list moderate. Whereas the other model, they've actually done a small list, to be fair. But this is stupid, right? Yes, these have 100% cancellation rates, but only one product was ordered. So this is obviously some kind of trial. This is not real data. This is synthetic. I think the fact that it added these to the list was a waste of time. Like, why have you added products with one order and one cancellation? Like, at least with the newer model, they've actually added products that have had multiple orders, which makes sense. And I love the innovation. It's got the revenue beautifully displayed. It's got the cities. There is one issue with the cities I'll go into in a second, but it's got the trends. Interesting with the numbers. stated here. I feel like that's part of the design. Really clean, and I like the major concerns. What an improvement from this. Even though I did say I was a fan of the bar charts for the old model, but it's insane. One model upgrade and same prompt, same file, and all of this has happened. For innovation, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Opus 4.6 is on a roll right now. 9 out of 10 for money and productivity, 9 out of 10 for innovation. We've got to the point you've all been waiting for, the accuracy. And this is really important because I'm sure there's a lot of YouTubers who's going on testing Claude Opus 4.6, but I've actually got this huge data set, 128,000 rows that I had to slice, and I put this into the model. So let's see if it's actually done the right analysis. I've gone ahead and done my own data analysis, so I will be going through the numbers and saying what it got right and what it got wrong. For the accuracy, we're just focusing on Claude Opus 4.6 because 4.5 surprisingly got similar results, but it wasn't as good. Let's look at the stats that I've listed. So first we had 2 questions. 1, was the data accurate? And that's what we're going to go over. And 2, did they translate the requirements from Indian names and terminology to the British terminology? With the cities, yes, they have. As you can see, they've listed all the cities: London, Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, Glasgow, Liverpool. That looks about right. And they've named actually way more than 4.5 did. So yeah, they listed a lot of cities, and it's clean how they've visualized it. Cancellation rate as well, which is really interesting. I would have thought London would have been higher, but obviously it seems like London people don't want to cancel. And in terms of the close, turning it from Indian names to British names, they didn't actually include hat, it seemed, because I remember in the prompt I said like call one of the words hat, and I can't see it, but they've gave it very interesting names, but I think I do understand what all these clothes represent, so that's good. But in terms of the numbers, I know you guys have been waiting, let's just get straight in. Time for the revenue. This was correct. I calculated that it's £324,764.99. So it was correct. And in terms of the total orders, correct, 57,449. Cancellation rates correct. Cancellation orders is correct. And the percentage, average order, correct. So it's doing really well with the stats right now. Indian to English pounds, correct. Kill list, correct. So overall, the numbers were right. Now, what went wrong? It's actually this number right here, units shipped, because we've got 57,449 total orders that's gone through. We've got 8,193 orders cancelled. What's 57,449 minus 8,193? That equals 49,437. It's made a pure error. 57,449 take away by 8,193 is not 51,927. So this was an error I was very confused about. I said, how can this brilliant model make such a mistake? And it's really interesting because I would have expected it to get it. So that's going to lower the score by a lot. And then when it comes to cities, because I said there was an issue with the cities, if we look at the orders, I told it, remember, assign the most popular Indian cities and convert them into the most popular British cities. There was an equivalent to London's orders. So they've actually hallucinated, and for some of the cities they've added more, some they've added less. They didn't do that exact translation, and maybe that's because in the database there was loads of different names for cities. Some cities had all caps, some had lowercase, some had title case, but still it should have really got that right. So overall, I'm going to give it an accuracy score of 7. Even though it got most of these stats right, it put it in a pretty UI and made it really believable. So that shows you that you can't 100% rely on these models yet to do your full business workflows. But overall, I'm very impressed with Claude Opus 4.6. It's delivered me a great e-commerce platform. I would just say be very careful of the accuracy, be careful of the numbers. Don't just trust everything you see when you use LLMs to generate you e-commerce platforms, websites, apps, anything that has real data and you're trying to sell a product. Okay, we've covered everything in the video. Make sure to subscribe. I've still got to tell you the data-driven score, but make sure you to subscribe and like the video, because I'm going to plan to get 2 videos out like this a week. I'm going to be building a lot. I'm going to be using AI to level up myself and you guys. It's going to be really exciting. I've got so many ideas. I've got so many things I want to push out. For the data-driven score, it is 8.3, which is the best data-driven score I've ever set on this channel. It's crushed it. It's done really well. Obviously, the accuracy let it down at the end. However, overall, it killed it. It got the revenue right. It got a lot of the costs right. It got the pricing right on each of the products. It was super innovative, creative. It will definitely make you money if you create a platform like this and advertise it right. You use agentic AI to obviously do the outsource. AI is taken over and it's insane. I do understand when people say AI is taken over, but when you use it like this, it's such a leverage. But anyway, make sure to subscribe, like I said, because I'm going to be putting out so many bangers. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. It's been Josh.